Welcome back, and it's still Daybreak Africa on KAFTAN television, and I remain Angela Daku. And now our topic today, just before we went on the package, girl-child education, reviewing government's contribution, challenges and solutions. Now, we already told you we have a guest in the house who will be doing justice to this topic, and it is Dr. Eniola Olutoyosi Akande. She is an early childhood educationist, a social commentator. She obtained a Bachelor's of Arts degree, English Studies from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. She later obtained a postgraduate diploma in education and a master's degree in early childhood education from the University of Ibadan. She is also a PhD holder in early childhood education from the University of Ibadan. She is currently head of Department of Primary Education, Federal University of Education, Ondo. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you so much. Angela, you didn't add the most important part of that resume. She is a girl child.
Of course, she is a girl child.
She is a girl child.
Maybe a woman child.
No, okay. Every one of us is a child within.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yes. It's so nice to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it's a very important topic, and we really wanted someone with the passion to come talk about it. I know the first question to ask is, who is a girl child from your perspective? But before I do that, I want to crave your indulgence by reading out a little thing about the girl child. Something I call the girl child, her long walk to freedom. It says, she is the author of our own story, the captain of our own ship. The girl child is the feminine face of God. She is a force of nature that comes into the world saying, watch me grow. I can do this. Our voice is essential to our progress as a human family and our shared liberation from ancient and interlocking oppressions. She is bravely climbing every mountain in her path, saying to the world, I am more than what this edifice of tradition has said I am. I am not a passive recipient of tiredness or traditions. I am part of recreating them.
Yeah.
I saw this, it was awesome, and I wanted to share it. So, I want to ask you, as a Nigerian, who is a girl child?
Okay. Well, as a Nigerian, a girl child is a female that, was given that by the force of nature. Well, maybe the copulation between a man and a woman. So she came out as a girl with the features that may not have been maybe developed at birth, but with time would unfold. So, but there is also a feature that would distinguish her from a male. So when that feature is in a child, then that okay, she came in as a girl. So she's a girl child.
Oh, that's an interesting definition, I must say.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, what would you say about girl child education today? Let's begin from there.
Girl child education today, well, so much is expected of parents or the government to be able to bring up a girl child, because once you're able to bring up a girl child, you are building nations, and then the girl child will come out with all her full potentialities, with all her creativities. There is something that is embedded in a girl that is not even in a man, and it takes somebody that knows how to bring it out, to make it manifest. And she has a greater potentialities that if you're able to explore her, you will enjoy her, because she's creative. She will also procreate, and then if she's given the environment that is conducive enough, she'll be able to bring out the best that is in her. So, but in Nigeria today, of course, according to the national policy, every child is expected to be trained or to go to school to have education. Well, in this southern part of Nigeria, if you desire to go and the parents are ready to send you, you can have the education because the policy says it is compulsory. Even if you don't want to go in Southwest, they will push you. But it's in the North, you can decide not to go and nobody will bat an eyelid. But in Southwest, you are free because it's accessible, it is compulsory, and then you have, there's a provision, let me put it that way, for you to go because it's compulsory and it's accessible and you can access it. You can maximize the opportunity and go and enjoy and learn from maybe primary 1. Well, when you talk about primary 1, because when you want to consider when it becomes a girl like that, and in education, you start from when they begin the formal level of schooling, formal education, and that is from primary 1 up to primary 5, then to the junior secondary school. That's what we call basic level of education. So a girl child should be made or should be allowed to go through that process. It's progressive. You move from one class to the other, and then you come out to now go to the secondary school, which is a junior school, and that one will chart the life you actually want to go to. It could make you to become somebody great and have greater potential, even to contribute to the gross domestic whatever that we have product, and then you can manifest or bring out that which God has embedded in you, because every child, everybody has that thing embedded in her. But there are some that they do not have the opportunity. Let me put it that way. There are some things that could militate against a child not having access or not granting the grace, let me put it that way, to attend or to enjoy going through the education. One, they could be maybe orphans, maybe people that put their children out for little minor jobs, house helps, hawking, and all that, because they are rampant. You see them all around. Of course, we are not always happy. We don't want too much out of school children. We call them out of school children, but we don't want much of them. We don't even want them at all. The government doesn't want them. In Nigeria, the government doesn't want them at all. So every child from primary 1 to 6 is expected to go to school. Okay. To be in school and to complete the primary school.
At least that basic exposure for the girl child.
Yes.
Now you've spoken about disparity. I know we're going to talk about disparity much more later in the course of our discussion, because there's no way you talk about the girl child in Nigeria and you talk about girl child education in Nigeria without actually talking about the disparity. In fact, just like you rightly did, the first thing that comes to mind is the disparity when it comes to education. Now, Angela asked a question about education, the girl child education in Nigeria, but I would want us to even go a little bit backward in history. There's no way you can make progress without taking a look at where you're coming from, and where you're coming from basically is the history that we're talking about, which will help us towards the future that we desire. Now, while I was doing this research, I was shocked to discover that before 1920, the schools that not shocked, because most of the schools we had, in our history was built by Christians. The missionaries built the schools, and I discovered that before 1920, it was a voluntary contribution towards education and enlightening, the society. But by 1920, the schools built in Nigeria, out of 25 schools built in Nigeria, only 3 out of 25 were dedicated to the girl child. So if we use that as a basis of the foundation that we have, do you think starting from 1920 basically to where we're at right now, it had any effect? because even after 1920 to 1948 to 1949 to 1957, we had the same history. So I would really want you to like start by creating that foundation of where we're at. Even in 2024, we still have the issues that we have in 1920.
Yeah. Yes. I will say you are right, because having a specific school dedicated to girls, I don't think we have it in Nigeria, although we encourage parents to send their children to school, girl child. Normally, traditionally, this cultural setting, in the olden days that you're talking about, girls are never sent, were not supposed to be sent to school, because the parents then saw them as means of getting money, one, through sending them to early marriage. They go and then they get the bride price. They see them as, even if you send them to school, they will end up in the kitchen. So they see them as hands that can help in the house. Even the boys, they will send them to the farm and then get them trained with all these skills. But the girls are not given that opportunity then. But nowadays, because of the policies that government have put in place, it is only in the north. But things have actually changed, because there was a program, with the help of the UNICEF, the UN, UNESCO, they did in the north. They call it the GEP3. Well, I was part of those that later went for the workshop. They call it early grade reading. So there, it was like an intervention, and then the girl child were encouraged to go to school. And at the end of the day, they now found that those girls that went through that program performed better than those that didn't partake of it. So it shows that if a girl child is given the opportunity, she can measure up with any man, even more. Because the thing is, because they are marginalizing them, they end up sending unserious boys to school and neglecting the most intelligent and all that. But nowadays, I think things have changed, although the impact is rather slow, not really. But it is it's like a project. So that project that I was talking about is supposed to end like 2030. It was started in 2020, so it's a 10-year program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 10-year program. But then they now try to bring it down here, and it wasn't really like that. We went for the training, but it wasn't like what they did there. Yeah, it wasn't like what they did there. But here, even, let me mention a state in Nigeria here, in the southwest, Osun State, Iseyin to be precise. The girls there, they do not want to go to school.
Why?
They do not want to.
They do not want to go to school.
Why?
You
Why
tend
not?
to force them. That project that I told you about, they had to give them money, the indigent ones, to encourage them. They finance them, give them the bags, the books, the sandals, the everything. So those girls, we just found out that when they get to maybe like age 12, 13, before they get to GS1, they're already pregnant. So if you now try to encourage them, they will back their children or their babies
And bring them
then,
to school.
Yes, and then come back to school. And then or go and put them somewhere. After class, they will now go back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Even in this is saying Southwest. But what we realized was that it was as a result of what they saw in their mothers. So you can see the effect of mothers in the education of their children. Their parents too maybe they gave birth to them when they were also very young.
Very young.
By the time you see the mother, okay, in school, see the grandmother, and then see the great grandmother, you just be wondering, what is happening? Because maybe the girl is like 16, the mother is like 25, the grandparent is like 35. So you'll be wondering, the mother, the grandmother, and the great grandmother, 35. You'll be wondering, what is happening? But in some areas, you encourage your children to, at least from primary school to secondary school, to become whatever you desire to become. There is that opportunity
for the girl
for whoever wants to seize that opportunity.
You earlier made mention of the fact that a girl child always has these special characteristics in her. What are some of those characteristics?
Okay. Let's see. As far as I know, when you see a girl child, she's more composed than a male. She will do her things orderly. She will not just rush to things and all that. It's not that you are teaching her, but it's like the thing is innate, like the thing is inborn in them. So for them to just rush things, they compose themselves, even to eat. At times, they will put some swags to eat. Yeah. So it's like God has put something in them that would distinguish them from the boys. And then if you now expose them to education, you now fine-tune it. That you are fine-tuning that thing. They are so creative. Of course, there's always that disparity. They will say, okay, males love sciences, girls love English or drama or whatever. No, not really. It depends on what you expose them to. They have the intellect. They can manipulate anything. They can do, and if you give them the right environment, the right exposure, the right encouragement, because you need to encourage a girl child. You need to tell them you can do it. You will do it if you so desire. Because maybe parents, they feel that they want somebody to take their name somewhere, because they feel that the girl child will still drop the name. So every attention is like focused on the male child. So they will always be encouraging them, you can do this, you can become this, you can become that. But at times they neglect the girl child. But the girl child, she needs just little encouragement. That thing in her will just come.
Blossoms.
It will blossom. Even if you don't encourage her. Well, I'm using my own children to tell you that they know what they want and they know what they want to become. But you just need little encouragement, and then they will show you what is in them. God has put so much and embedded so much thing in them that it just needs a little encouragement, a little pushing, a little anything, the finance, the everything. See, when you see a girl child, at times they may want to go to school. They may not have the money. I see them, a lot of them on my campus. You see them selling things, carrying things about, because they want to secure this education. They want to go. Of course, we do not normally encourage it, but you see them. They have a vision. They have a goal. And they always
drive.
The drive is there. The drive is there. And they always want to aspire. That's the girl child will always want to aspire, and they will say, okay, what do you want to become? They will tell you some things that you just be wondering. You say yes.
Why is it important to educate the girl child at this juncture? Why is it important? Because again, talking about research, educating the girl child develops growth rate, encourages independence of the girl child, reduces social disparities, impact on the development of a stable, prosperous, healthy nation. If a girl child has all these qualities now, yet she has to face so much challenges in life, and those challenges does not even start now. For centuries, the girl child has had to battle to exert herself. She has had to battle to be heard and not just seen. For everything that she has gotten, she has had to fight for. If a girl child has so much qualities and yet society seems not to be aware on the bigger picture, I just want you to let us understand why it is important to educate the girl child, especially during this time in history.
You know what? The girl child are so malleable that wherever you turn them, they can easily fix it. The strength of character is in them. They are open to encouragement. They are open to receiving whatever. So I know that if they are encouraged, just like you said, they will go places. Because, you know, according to something that maybe I got from somewhere, it said the role of a girl child in millennium development or whatever, sustainable development, you know, the country is always tending towards sustainability. So the girl child could contribute her own quota if encouraged, economically, creativity. They have it. So they can become a doctor, a nurse, whatever, a teacher, whatever. But if you allow them, you know, when you give them the opportunity to understand their rights, every girl child has a right to education, right to be heard, and right to say whatever is in your mind. Expression, freedom of expression. A girl child has it. But the thing is, because I said they are malleable, if you shut them down, they can easily retreat to their shell. So when you don't encourage them, there's that tendency for them, except you build into them the confidence. If you're able to build into them the confidence, they will go places. They will know that, yes, this is me. And they can rise up to defend themselves. Yes, they can. They can rise up to defend themselves. They can say, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. You know, that's why they have a strength of character that if they have a peer group, except they are not well brought up or there is a laxity in the life of the parents, they can withstand peer pressure a lot. So if you encourage a child like that to go to school, then he knows his right. She knows her right. She knows how to voice whatever she has in mind and to get her right and to speak. At times, you know, according to the Acts, Convention on the Child's Rights Act, a child is expected to be able to say whatever is in her mind and then to even seek for people that will speak on her behalf, maybe in the law court or whatever. Because most of these girl child, if they are exposed to hawking, this sexual abuse, they are susceptible to sexual abuses, susceptible to violence and all that. Because, you know, by the time the features are coming out, and if they don't have people that will monitor them, where they go, how they go, when they go, and how they come in, the praise, the pedophiles and all that could take advantage of them. So, but if they're enlightened, there's this, my body belongs to me, that we always sing. Yes, let them know that this, nobody can cajole you. Nobody can say something and bring you down. Exhibit your confidence. Know your worth. That's another thing. They should know their worth. When you educate them, they know their worth. They know what they can become. They know who they can become. They know the exploit, they themselves. Because, you know, when you train a girl child, it's like you are training a woman that will bring forth children. And whatsoever she has maybe developed another, she will definitely pass it on to his or her sons or daughters, and then the nation will be better off. I pray that the government will do so much to help in the training of children or girl child. Yeah, so that the nation will be better for it.
Definitely.
Because whatever is in them, they have influence. They are very, very influential.
Yes, I remember as a young child during school debates, and topics like this come, and for the very first time I heard my friend say, when you give a girl child a chance, she creates chances.
Yes, she will. She will. They will maximize the chance.
That's a good one.
Yes, they will maximize the chance. Yes.
Yes, if you just joined us, it is Daybreak Africa, where we're taking a look at a very, very important topic, the girl child. Well, this is where we'll take a break for tea or coffee or water. And when we return, our guest is still here as we move on to the second and concluding part of our discussion. Stay with us.
Welcome back, and it's still Daybreak Africa. Well, today's topic has been girl child education, reviewing government's contribution, challenges and solutions. And with us has been Dr. Eniola, who has been doing justice to this particular topic. And now, this brings me to my next question. I mean, I just read from our topic today, reviewing government's contribution. Now let's go to that aspect. How much has the government actually contributed to seeing that the girl child is being recognized in the society? How much effect has it had over the time?
Well, government is like trying, but they're not really bringing out the best in them. Just like I said the other time, that program that they did, the focus was mainly on girl child. But then, when you look at the issue of child's right, if the girl herself has not been enlightened, has not been sensitized, has not been, there's little the girl child will be able to prove that she has this in her. So she needs sensitization. But then the government I have not seen any special program that is like girl child focus and is national. Of course, some are doing it bit by bit, but it needs to be national. It needs to go round. It needs to, yes, the Child Rights Act, they are doing it, but in the one of the policies they said she can talk to be heard and listened to when she gets to the age of maturity. No.
What's the age of maturity? That's the question one needs to ask. At this time, what's the age of maturity?
They will say 18. No.
Where you have children of 3 years, breaking into iPhones.
Yes.
They're able to operate anything. They're so intelligent.
So you can see that clause is faulty. Let me put it that way. So a child, as soon as the child is able to speak, allow the child to express. They have something there. When you hear a child talk, you wonder. This age and time, they have so much there. If you allow them to explore, to blossom. That's why in schools, we are not comfortable with teachers using this chalk and talk, whatever, for them. Allow them to explore. We call it play away method. You have to allow them to play. Bring the creativity in them. They will decipher things. They will know the things by themselves, unravel it by themselves. But the government is like this chalk and talk because the finance is not there. They are not ready to finance this. They are doing all, but it's not up to what's
Okay.
it's supposed to be 17% of the budget. Is it?
But we don't see that.
No,
now,
no, no,
talking
no.
about the Child Right Act, now, I have something here. It says the most comprehensive of Nigeria's federal child protection laws is the CRA, which is the Child Right Act, which was enacted to give legal effect to the UNCRC and mainstream its provisions into national law and practice. Now, the CRA, which is the Child Right Act, specifies that the best interest of the child should be central to all actions, and it defines a child as a person under the age of 18. But most importantly, it provides that children are to be protected from violent and exploitative practices, and specifically includes child marriage among the prohibited practices. Now, we're talking about disparity, so I think we're getting closer to that. But it says here that, however, despite its well-intended purpose, the children or the Nigerian government has struggled with implementing the CRA in all countries of that, all 36 states of the country. And that's where the disparity comes in. Now, we're talking about laws enacted to protect the girl child. Not just the girl child, but the child in Nigeria, and of course, by implication, the girl child. Now, the laws placed within that document is not being followed by the entire 36 states of the nation because of course, we have religion, we have culture, we have norms, and that is where the divide is created. You rightly said when you started, you made mention of the North and you made mention of the South. Unfortunately, the reasons why girls do not go to school in the North somehow seeps into these laws, and we're talking about government. If government made these laws, it means that laws are to be obeyed and followed. And we're talking about the life of our children. Where certain states actually practice these laws and other states don't practice them based, and they hide behind religion, they hide behind ethnicity, they hide behind norms, cultures, and tradition. What hope does the girl child have in Nigeria if laws cannot protect them? Is the question I want to ask.
Well, there's hope. Let me put it that way. There's hope because parents are being enlightened nowadays, and they are being maybe they know that they should send their children to school in the South. Let me put it that way.
You did that with so much emphasis.
Yes.
In the South.
In the South.
What happens to those in the North?
In the North.
Who were married over at 7 years,
yes,
at
they
8
were,
years,
they
at
were
9
giving
years.
them a special education. They call it Almanjuri, nomadic education. How many of them goes? We have fisherman education, in which there's a specific period during rainy season like this, when there is fishing, whatever, you hardly see them in school. So they move from one place to the other. For nomadic, we have teachers. They have a settlement that the teachers will go and teach them. But the thing is, poverty is ravaging them there, and they feel that when they send their children to forced, let me put it that way, into early marriage, they will get enough money to do whatever they feel they want to do. But they don't know that this thing is a long term. It must have a long term effect. They themselves will still enjoy what they thought they want to enjoy now on a greater scale if they're able to send them to school. But I think things are getting better now, although the government is supposed to, they said it's compulsory, but there are no supervisors like that, let me put it that way, that will insist on seeing that those children are sent to school, those girls are sent to school, and they stop all these practices. There must be a stop to it. They must put a stop to it, and then when they can enact laws that will say, if you do this, this is your punishment.
We already have laws. We already have the Child Right Act.
Yeah, but
that the entire state is not obeying, just a few states are doing that while others are not.
That's what I'm saying is, if the government of that state wants to help the girl child, they will try. It may not work, it may work, let me put it that way. They may try to insist on parents seeing that their girl child goes to school, seeing that they are retained in school, and seeing that they complete. Because there's what we call enrollment, there's what we call retention, and there's what we call completion. They might go for some time and then they will just drop out. The dropout rate is so high. So the enrollment for girls is lower than that of boys. The completion rate too is lower for girls. Let me show you. Out of school children in Nigeria, the retention rate for primary school is generally is 7 million, but for boys in primary school it's 3.9. In junior and secondary school it's 3.1, making 7 million. Now, for boys, completion rate is 59%. For girls, it's 51% as at 2022. Then out of school girls are 38%. So you could see that the parents are not helping matters. There's little the government can do. Yes, they said it's compulsory. They said it's free. What else do they want? Of course, there is this issue of transportation, books, and all that, which the parents should be responsible for, but they don't want to be responsible for anything. They are not ready. And the schools are there. The classrooms are there. The furniture is there. It's just that the environment is not conducive for them. They allow them to. They have many children. That's one of the reasons why, if a girl child goes to school, she will know the number of children she should have. Her lifestyle will be different from the person that didn't go to school. Her status, social, the way she earns, what comes in, the type of job she will do, will be better than the person that didn't go to school. So when they are maybe enlightened or made to understand all that I've said, I think they themselves say, we don't want to stay in this poverty now. Let's move on. So, but it needs being firm, because you cannot just say it and go to sleep. You need to monitor. You need to see that it's done. Take all these children away from the street. They are on the street. Even in, I don't know, I've not seen it in Ondo, but maybe because I don't go out a lot. But in Ibadan, you have them. And they're always from the north.
Now, before I allow Angela, I just want to take, I would just want to add here that you said something about transportation. Just recently, right in our office here, we have IT students who come in for their industrial training. And, you know, they called on us and they told us that they have a problem, that they need to see us, they need to talk with us, that their parents are telling them that they don't have enough money for transportation for them to even come for their industrial training. Even afterward, giving them a day off, we give them a day off just to help, even before the situation got this bad. And now they're coming again to tell us that they can't do it. Now, you just mentioned transportation as one of the problems. These children are still going to go back to school, so I'm trying to imagine how parents can actually care in terms of transportation for them to go back for lectures. Now, you just mentioned transportation as part of it, and for whatever reason, for the truth to be told, what we're going through in terms of transportation is as a result of the policies, government policies. So that again is a big, huge challenge. Children don't even go to school right now because parents can afford transportation. So we need to talk about that right now. How this has will affect not just now, but of course in the future, if we're talking about training a girl child at all.
Well, in this state, there was a time the government was taking the children to school and bringing them back.
That's a long time ago.
There was, a
long time ago. Is it Mimiko's time or?
I think so.
That's a long time ago.
So. But now, such things are not in place. Those are the things, the things I think the government should at least think on doing. They will affect so many lives. And at the end of the day, it will pay us. The boss we will grow. The growth of the economy will be so much. When they go to school, when they are enlightened, it comes back. It comes back to the nation. But it's like, and the government, I don't think they understand this thing. Or maybe they do, but they are not ready to spend. See, finance, it's a big deal. In terms of education, it's a big deal. See, when a teacher is not paid, how do you hope the teacher will
impact the child?
Will be ready, will be happy. Because when you are teaching, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be a role model to the children. So once you are not happy, you just shout at them, they will not want to come to school. There will be absenteeism, they will be running away from school and all that. But if the government is able to put some things in place, free education, free ride, free transportation, between what will it cost them? I know they can. It's just that
the will.
That's the thing. They didn't see education as something they should invest in. They didn't see it that way. They're looking at short-term thing that they can just get, invest, and then bring in some money. But education is a long-term thing. It's a long-term, because by the time they grow up and become somebody that will be earning and contributing to the national growth, they might feel we're not going to be there. So why should I contribute to it? And it shouldn't be. It's the future of this nation. If a girl child is educated, or any child, it's the future of this nation that they are building. It's the future of this nation that they are trying to lay the foundation, a solid basic foundation. That whoever, I just pray that it will not just be manifestos or whatever they will do when they want to come in. That people will depend on. If people could rise up to their own rights and demand, I think, if they demand for it, yes, I think there will be a better. They will behave better, because when they don't vote them in, you are not paying us. Is it this salt, poultry, whatever, rice and all that you are giving? What does that one end the child? What does it end the parent? Of course, any child that goes to school will become somebody in life that will be able to affect his or her generation, that will be able to affect the nation entirely. But it's like
speaking about people standing up for their rights, don't you think that they've done that over and over and over again, and it seems like there is no end to it?
Yeah.
Looking at the kind of protests we have these days, the people that even die in the process.
There's a lot of them.
So do you think standing up for our rights at this point is actually what we should go for?
No, what I'm saying is, it's not that you go out protesting.
Okay.
It's just that you can raise a voice. See, the youths and the mothers especially, people fear them. Women, they fear them. They fear them. If women could come together and ask, I'm not saying they should protest or whatever. There's a way, if they can gather themselves together, have a voice. They could create a voice and make their voice heard. Just like the girl child too. She has a voice, so she should be heard. They can do it. But who will bail? They can't. Everybody is afraid now because they can kill, they can whatever. But it's not going to protest that will solve any. No. Let them have a voice. Let them know what they want. Let them make their demands. The people in the House of Assembly, we have representatives in all local governments, in all whatever. Let them approach those representatives. By the time they get to the House, they should be able to say something on their behalf. Approach their senators. By the time they get there, they will They'll be able to say something on their behalf, and then they can easily make. They're the ones making laws now. But let us see women. They'll be able to rise up.
Now, talking about gender equality, issues of gender equality in education, which you mentioned, you also spoke about registration. That's another problem, registration between the male or enrollment.
Enrollment,
rather.
I call it enrollment,
enrollment between girls in primary education and, of course, boys or male children in primary education. That also gives us what is actually going on in terms of gender equality, which again spills over to disparity. And there's no way we won't talk about the North and the South, the big gap in terms of education there, and the fact that religion or whatever plays a big role in this issue. Before we go into solutions, which we're almost there, I really want you to help us explain and enlighten in terms of this disparity and enrollment, the effect it has had on not just girl child education, but education generally for the Nigerian child.
Well, yeah. Well, according to the statistics or the data gathered, the rate of enrollment for boys is 56.26, while that of girls 43.75. See the gap. And everything boils down to the North. It's just that there they don't value education. That's the issue. They do not value education. And but here in the South, we value education. We do. When you see a child that's able to maybe even they're unenlightened, or uneducated. When you go to the marketplace and maybe you're buying something and the child comes in, the way they will pamper the child that comes in from school. What did you do? They cannot read, though. They cannot. But the way they will encourage the child, what have you done? What happened today? They say, we want to eat. They will remove the uniform. And then say, go and do your assignments. They cannot read. But they believe that when a child is able to speak English, their status in life changes. It goes high. So they will want to they say, the education I didn't have, my child must have it here in the South. But there, the percentage of children that goes to school there is very, very, very rather low. But they themselves need enlightenment, because you cannot give what you don't have. That's why they cannot encourage their children to go to school. They have not been to school. It's just for them to marry them off to one older man and all that. So many controversies surrounding that. But there's little we can do here. It takes them there to be able to see the value in education and to be able to rise up and say no. It's not that if you ask where the money, the intervention programs and everything is going in this nation, is enough. They hardly do things here for us, there, but they are not maximizing
So
it.
what are the solutions as we round up this morning? Okay. In your opinion, what solutions do you have, in changing this situation in the country?
And in light of that as well, what role do you think parents can play?
In the solution?
Yeah. Just like I said, if the parents are enlightened, they didn't go to school, yes, but expose them to some, maybe you bring in slides or you bring in maybe something that you have, the video of people that had gone to school and had made it, and maybe you encourage them. See, those children, they are so dirty. But if you see a child that has gone to school, will never be their health, whatever, is different. So if the parents are enlightened, let them see, let them understand that the good in going to school is greater than not going to school. Let them know that you cannot just marry these children away. Do not force them into marriage. They have some potentials here. Explore it. You will gain it at the end of the day. The nation will gain it. The children themselves will gain it. Let them know. Sensitize them. And then you compel or you encourage, allow these children to stay in school and to complete. It's one thing to go in, it's another one to be retention, and it's another one to complete. Allow them. Allow them. Don't feel that they are the ones that will take away your poverty. No. No. And it affects their health, these children's health. This vaginal fistula and all that.
Yes.
It cuts short their life. Of course, they don't value life. There. So they may not care. Here, we do. We value life a lot. So nobody wants to lose his or her child. They have so much there. So when, I don't know, many of them have 10 children, 1 woman. It's too much. It's too much. Let them cut down on the number of children they bear. Of course, they think that they don't have anything at stake. Just bring them forth into the world and let them fend for themselves. No. Some of these children are the breadwinners
of their families.
So let them know that you don't use them as breadwinners of your family. Let them know that they have their own life. They can chart their own life and become somebody great and somebody good in life. Okay, well, I was talking, let them have workshops, trainings, for them to know the importance in sending girl child to school. Then I've talked about sexual harassment. Here too, we have it. But because we have parents or men that are molesting their daughters, of course, a child that is molested cannot bring out the best in her educationally. She cannot concentrate. She cannot be the best. But let parents know, or people that go into such know that it's a no-no, and then let them put some stringent measures, laws into place. Of course, they give them 40 years, but the mom will not come out to tell us that my husband is molesting my daughter. They cover up. And let the women know that they can speak out. Don't cover up. Don't cover up. Open up. People will come. We have NGOs around that will sort things out for you, even if you don't have money to go to law courts. And these children now, there's a law that backs them up, the law of tort, the law of contract. When you engage a child, even to help you carry something on the road, maybe and the thing spoils or falls down or got lost, you cannot hold the child responsible. There's a law that backs them up. But it's just that parents and they don't know the laws.
I wish we could go on and on talking on this topic, because I can actually see our guests just sitting on the edge of the chair getting ready to talk more, but time is never our friend on the show. But we want to appreciate you so much for taking time to come talk on this topic, which is long overdue. We do hope that everyone who watched and listened to what we've spoken today would have taken or assimilated something that would help, not just now, but in the future. If you missed the entire interview, just know that you can catch up on YouTube. You can watch the entire interview there, not just on Daybreak, but all of our other programs are actually on YouTube, and you can follow. So thank you so much, Doctor, for being on the show this morning.
Thank you for being on the show this morning.
Thank you.
And this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on this episode of Daybreak Africa. See you again next time. I remain Angela Daku.
I am Anire Binitie. Stay safe and bye for now.
Yes, there is news on your device, but hearing an analyst's perspective is the icing on the cake that Daybreak Africa provides. Start your day with prompt analysis of the latest news, trends,
exactly, and then you see these people, they are so agile, they can do a lot of
politics.
We have to go back to that regional system. That is the foundation of this country, for God's sake.
Entertainment, fashion, culinary skills.
So first I'm going to be pouring the oil inside the pot and I will...
religious and cultural events amongst others on Daybreak Africa.
For a rich mix of analysis on current issues, tune in daily from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on channel 480 and 124 on Startimes.